Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Diego, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And this is the Expanse book review. We're on book 3, Abaddon's Gate. And I hope everyone is doing well today. So the format for today is I've got my notes ready. And what I'll do is I'll recap a little bit, and then I'll jump into the chat and we'll go back and forth. And we'll see how that works out, because this is more of a book discussion recap. So let's get going. Also, we started the book reviews this early on, so I wouldn't spoil too much of the TV show, and I will let everybody know, I'm sorry I don't have my spoiler sign here, that beyond this book, once we hit Cibola Burn in a couple weeks, that's when we're gonna get into major show spoilers. So this one will take us up to the end of season 3. There's no audio. Oh no, you're kidding me. Is there no audio? Gary has audio. Probably was on your end, Belinda. Sorry. Okay. Phew. Okay. Because I could have restarted there. So sorry about that. All right. So let's keep going here, and we're going to talk about Abaddon's Gate. And after the review, we'll get to because I've been asked a couple times, like, what are the meanings behind their titles. I really love how James S.A. Corey really does the writers do the their biblical references and Greek references and Shakespeare references. It's cool. And Abaddon, I'm going off the top of my head now, is the name of an angel that's in charge of locusts or something like that. So it's basically telling you the makers of the proto-molecule, what they were. And, as we go on with the book, I'll let you know, because that's one thing the show really didn't do in season 3. So there will be some spoilers, because I think they left some of the explanation about the civilization that made the proto-molecule and kind of what they were. They kind of glossed over that a little bit in the show, and I think they're saving it for season 4. And you're going to find out that they left out a ton of this book, but I understand why. And we will get to that as we go over the book. So I hope everybody is doing great. And I got to get to my notes. I just lost them there. Here we go. And my camera is in the way, of course. So sorry, I'm in a very strange setting now, and I've got a moving microphone what I was trying to deal with. So we start out with the slingshot ship that is the EK. Then we got the Belter Mono in it, and he's on his way. They've mentioned slingshotters in season 1 in book 1. And it's basically a sport where you slingshot around Jupiter or around the solar system, and the fastest one gets a lot of play if you survive. And it's basically just a bucket with some thrusters and a radio. It's really bare bones ship. So this one is headed out to the ring. He is trying to impress a girl and who he had lost. And on his way out to the ring, he goes through it. He decreases his speed to 99 G, I believe it is. And the ship goes through. It doesn't come out the other side, and neither does he. He ends up a splat. And this is after a Martian ship is telling him, hey, stop. And he's trying to stall. He's like, no. And they've said, you've turned your transponder off. And he's like, no, it's fine. Sasa, I'm okay. No harm. And he tries to stall him, and as he goes through, he goes splat, and that's where we find out something is really up with this ring that got constructed, and that's what rose from Venus at the end of Caliban's War. We also have the crew of the Rossi, which has had a pretty decent year. Holden and Naomi have combined their quarters. They've made a few bucks. And they've added a railgun, and Detective Miller is still visiting Holden at this point, but although he's not making any sense, or not making enough sense for Holden to understand him, he keeps telling Holden, like, they know I find things, and they know you help me. So, Holden really is still freaked out about this. And in the book, only Naomi knows. So the rest of the crew doesn't know. And if you hear some background noise, it's Dennis walking in. Because I'm in Dennis's place right now. Hello, Dennis. So there's a food shortage on the outer planets due to the Ganymede incident, obviously. And it now produces less than a quarter of its previous food output. Venus is completely dead as a planet. The protomolecules sucked it dry. And the ring, and inside the ring, they noticed that there is some sort of anomaly, but they're not really sure what it is. We also meet a new character who was, his character was kind of spread out among many characters. His name is Carlos Baca, and they call him Bull. He's a former UN Marine who was loyal to Fred Johnson and kind of went with Fred Johnson when he went off the reservation after after the incident, the butcher, after the Anderson Station incident. And he is the XO of the Behemoth, which is formerly the Nauvoo, the big Mormon ship. And they've turned it into a battleship, and it's called a retrofitted piece of crap. So the drum can't spin anymore because of all the guns they've put on it. I think they put some rail guns on it. It's mainly for show, and what they're using it for is to go out. They went out and recaptured it, and they showed that in the show as well. And they're using that to keep up with the UN and Mars on their way out to the ring, so they have a presence there. And I think it's a really smart move. It's a smart move by Fred Johnson. But the problem is, poor Bull. Bull gets just screwed over this entire book. Poor guy. He's a good soldier. He's the XO, but he gets demoted immediately because, rightly so, Fred Johnson thinks it would look better to have belters in control of the ship. So he's head of security now. And this is where we meet Captain Ashford and XO Michio Pa. Not one of my favorite characters. I liked her better in this book, and I think she's written that way. Okay, she's very stern and very calculated and pretty smart, and she's younger in this one. She's I think 26, they said, so really young to be that high a rank. And the reason Fred still wants Bull to be with them is Ashford and Powell are really inexperienced with the ways of war and the UN, and Bull knows a lot about it, so he can at least be advisor. And Fred made him promise that this is going to work because Bull does not like Ashford. I don't think anybody likes Ashford, and Ashford is a lot different than he is in the show. In the show, he was an ex-pirate. And he was kind of likable. He was pretty likable. In the book, he's not likable from the get-go. He's a pompous ass. He has a degree from Luna, and he likes to wave it in people's faces, and he's a narcissist, and he makes very calculated decisions that are wholly based on whether he looks good or not. So basically your typical politician, and that's why he rose so high. And I still question why Fred Johnson picked him. He might have seemed good, but we'll find out why he wasn't. We also have another character that the show, the show was great. I love season 3. But if I had a criticism, it would be Melba. Melba was a great character in the books that I don't think they were given enough time to flesh out in the show. I fully blame sci-fi for this. I don't blame the writers. I think they did with what they could with the time they were given. And they basically had to wrap up this entire book in a half a season. And usually they were given a full season to go through a book that went over, they would start a book halfway through one season and finish it, halfway through the next. And I think they were told to wrap things up on this one, and they did the best they could, and they did a very good job. But it is, and Melba, of course, is Clarissa Mao, who is the sister of Julie Mao, and she is out for revenge for her father. She wants Holden. She is all out to get Holden. She fakes an identity. She fakes an identity and joins a civilian maintenance group to go out to the ring. And she also has these glands that are put in. They're like super soldier glands. That are a failed experiment. Basically, it makes you super strong. You can rip people apart. You become basically a superhero, but you fall asleep afterwards. You crash hard. You get sick, and it'll eventually kill you. So she becomes part of this maintenance group, and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She basically did some YouTube tutorials, and that's it. But the rest of her plan was pretty spot on. She was given enough money So she was able to buy some people off. One of the guys she got a fake ID from kind of caught on to her plan. And that's when we find out how badass she is. She uses her glands and pretty much beats the shit out of everybody, rips them apart. And it's pretty brutal. And the one thing this book is filled with gore. This one is absolutely filled with gore. So many body parts flying around, twisted spines, crushed heads. It doesn't stop. So they went lighter on that in the show too, kind of like they did with the vomit zombies. They really went lighter on the gore, which I liked it. I thought it was good. It made it, this book is almost a horror novel in some way. And that's kind of what, sorry for the shaking table here. So I'm going down my notes here. We also meet, I'm only going to pronounce the full name once. It's Anushka Vavalavadov. Okay. And that's Anna. So we saw Anna, and she was chosen by the Secretary General's advisory group for the civilian trip to the ring. And they picked all these religious heads. So they had the Catholic head, and they also had all sorts of religions. And she's aboard the USS Thomas Prince, which is a Xerxes class spaceship. Now we find out that if the behemoth fires its rail guns, it will pretty much tear apart the ship. Many of its parts were built to spin, to spin the drum. And since they can't do that, it's just the ship under thrust. So it's just a rickety bag of bolts at this point. Bull wants to get some funding to retrofit it to make it fly a little better. He wants to take some time, and Exo Pa kind of denies him that. So he sends Sam Rosenberg, who we've met, engineer Sam. She hung out with Naomi when they broke up with Holden, to kind of retrofit it on the side. He shifts some funds, and he ends up getting Sam caught. And she gets taken off her job. She's pissed off, and he kind of lets it happen. Bull lets it happen. He feels terrible about it, but what keeps ringing in his head is Fred Johnson made him promise that this has to work. So even though Paul, Ashford, and Bull all hate each other, they have to make this work for the belt. Sam is from Tycho. Holden takes a job in the beginning of the book as far away from the ring as possible. He's still completely freaked out about all this stuff, but his employer backs out at the last minute. Once it's served, Holden has served a summons from Mars to take back the Rocinante, and they get out of it basically by having the UN public broadcasting group with Monica Stewart. But pretty much rents the ship to go out to the ring, and there's some Freedom of Journalism Act that allows him to do that. So that at least gets him out of the summons. It buys him some time, and they can also get some money. And this will, and they did this in the show as well. So at this point, I'm going to get to the chat. We'll see how this works out. If not, I'll just keep recapping. How is everybody today? I've got this moving microphone. It's driving me nuts. The table is leaning. It's the leading table of San Diego. Yes, I am at Comic-Con as we speak right now. Hello, Halam 899. Hello, Movie Finobi. Hello, Diffuse 56. Mary Ashmead, how's it going? She rips them apart and takes her stuff. As far as Melba is going, yeah, she tears everybody apart. Nice new background. This is a guest background. This is actually I'm at Dennis's house, my lovely co-host. So yes, I am in San Diego, and we're going to be doing a live stream tonight. We're going to do live streams every night for Comic-Con. And there's a new Doomcock video. Thank God. Thank God. We'll definitely check it out. Okay. So, all right. I hope everybody's sticking with it. We're going to get on with the recap here, and then we will get to you in the chat. All right. Melba commands a team of 4 technicians on the oh my God, the Cesar. I think my notes. I read things in my head, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing them wrong. And this book is very challenging with names, but that's good. I like to be challenged. But she's doing a poor job of it. She leaves a bomb on the ship called the Sung Un, and she creates a video of Holden claiming he is taking control of the ring for the OPA, and has paid someone on Sirius to step up a remote connection to the Rossi. So she confides in Ren, a member of a team that she's in over her head in the engineering job, and she asks for his help, and he agrees. And back on the Behemoth, the staff are showing up to work high. Bull, with his deputy Surge, catch a drug dealer, and Bull nonchalantly throws him out the airlock. And they pulled back on this on the show, but Bull spaces this guy and then turns around and tells everybody, "All right, I know you're coming to work high, and this guy was taken care of. You got a day. I want all the drugs in this airlock, no questions asked. If we find anything after this day, you're going the same place he is." And this pisses Ashford off. And it really starts the pretty much the division between them. I mean, not that it was great anyway, but Bull makes him waffle. Bull pretty much stares him down, and doesn't get taken off duty or anything. And it ends up working, but Michio Pa's pissed off as well. So he pissed off both the captain and the XO, killing one of their crew, even though, one of the workers getting high led to a severe injury of one. And that's what led Bull to do this. And he also forced Sam to kind of give the drug dealer up, which is very un-OPA. The OPA almost has prison rules. Miller keeps telling Holden to check the doors and corners and clear the room, and he has no idea what he's talking about. And if they don't keep doing that, everybody's going to end up dead. And like I said, Holden has no idea what he's talking about. The data shows that the EK is still moving in a straight line at a consistent velocity of 600 meters per second towards the center of the ring. Ran offers Melba. Ram confronts in the next scene. We get to Melba, and Ren confronts her when he gets filter data in the Sungung indicating that there is a bomb aboard. She turns into a ninja at that point, breaks his neck pretty much, and folds him up and puts him in a storage locker, which is pretty horrible because she really did like Ren, and she's really far gone at this point, but there's still a little bit of remorse, and she's really pissed at herself for having remorse towards it because she's trying to stay focused on the job. And you hear in her head that she's doing all this for Daddy. Anna starts holding a prayer meeting on the Thomas Prince, and she, as many of the crew are kind of distraught about the ring. They kind of went into the show, and they mixed in a couple things. They had in the show, they had a guy kill himself. But it was really more a Marine wanting to start a prayer group because they're Methodists. There was also the incident of some Brazilian breakaway country. Some guy sets himself on fire, and I think they kind of mixed it in with that. He's put out and he doesn't die, but so there's a lot of fear going along with the ring, and there is a lot of questioning of why we have civilians coming out here anyway, and like how good of an idea this was. Melba heads back to the ship and activates the software on the Rossi, ensuing and pretty much issuing a trigger code to blow up the Sungung, and it blows up, announcing. Then she also puts out the video of Holden's taking responsibility of it, and then she ends up powering up the weapons, and or all the other ships start powering up weapons and targeting the Rossi. And the Rossi, the only thing it has left to do is head out to the ring, and that's what it does. On the Behemoth, the probes sent in to the wormholes have determined that there are a number of large objects, possibly ships, on the other side. Exopa revokes Sam's access. Like I said before, she caught Sam messing around with funds and doing work she wasn't supposed to do. And it was basically a political turn to get back at Bull. Bull understands it, but is not happy about it. Bull then gets the transmission from Holden that informing him about that he's taking control of the ring for the OPA. Bull's like, shit, and knows things are about to go sideways. And And that's when Ashford, Bull has to tell Ashford that they need to shoot down the Rossi, and they need to do it now. The OPA, Ashford reluctantly fires a torpedo, but it causes the whole ship to power down. The XO lets Sam out of confinement to fix the ship at that point. That was a great scene. That was a great moment from the book when the power goes out. He's all permission to release the chief engineer, please. XO pow, and she's like, yes. Holden realizes the lawsuit and the camera crew were a setup for this moment, and the behemoth fires a torpedo at them, but Naomi's countermeasures are offline. With no other way to go, they have to head out to the ring. Ashford wants to follow the Rossi through. Mars vows to destroy him if they get even close. Bull suggests to Pa that they overthrow the captain. At this point, they already find, I mean, this early on, they realize this guy's just a complete idiot and he's going to get us all killed. She insists to him to follow the chain of command, but she's kind of winking like, I order you to follow the captain, but if you don't, I will not be totally mad. Hector Hank Cortez, who is the Catholic priest and spiritual advisor to the UN Secretary General, asks Anna to sign a petition for their ship to go through the ring. She immediately agrees, sees it as a way to reunite the fleets and slave off the war that, every book we're on the verge of shooting, and they made no secret of us when they even with the blurb at the beginning of the first book, they're always on the verge of war. And we've gotten many like skirmishes, all out war. I don't know if we've had that. We've had big battles, but there is more to come. Melba is really pissed that Holden survived the sabotage. When Clarissa's employers order a number of the crew to dispatch to the prince and chase Holden, she volunteers. Before leaving, she removes Ren from the storage thing. And here's another gross scene. She had put him into a storage locker with a bunch of sealant, so she's got to dig him out. First thing that pops out is his knee, and she's just taking him out in pieces. And the whole time she's like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And then when she heads over to the prince, she recognizes somebody she knows, Anna's friend Tilly. Inside the ring, when they finally get across to the ring, it's 1 million kilometers across, with 1,373 wormholes spaced into the sphere evenly, and they're all closed. The only open ring is the one to the Earth system. Sol, in the center of the ring station, there's a ring station. It's a metal sphere that's kind of glowing blue. And orbiting it is the EK and all the probes they have sent in. And then at this point, they dub it the slow zone. Alex wanted to call it Dandelion Sky, which I think is a much better name, to be honest with you. But they didn't go with that. Even Holden liked that name. So let's get over to the chat. How's it going, everybody? It seems like either mesmerized or out. How's everybody? Okay, there we go. My chat did not. There are definitely ships on the inside there. Abaddon, the Angel of the Abyss. Thank you, Matthew Davies. And I think it's a reference to either the creators of the proto-molecule or what the unknown entity is. And we'll get to that. There's the unknown entity that caused all this trouble. And that was the best part of the book, I thought, was the whole explanation of what the hell went on and why that civilization is missing, which we will get to shortly here. Okay, I'm almost done with the recap. Amos is replacing a light bulb, and he finds a transmitter in there, and ends up belonging to the sound guy, Ko and Elio, and it turns out they're about to space him, but the sound guy gives up immediately and goes, "Yep, it was me. I'm sorry. I didn't know she was going to fire missiles on it." He basically thought it was just maybe some gossip rag or something that wanted to listen in on their transmissions or some other media entity. So he didn't think it was that harmful. They believe him, and they pretty much put him in the airlock because there is no brig or anything. But he does a 3D image of a girl, and they think it's Julie Mao. So Holden starts freaking out and thinks the proto molecules not only created a Miller, it's created a Mao, and this one is way more sentient. It's running around bribing people and sending Holden through the ring. So he thinks the proto molecule wants to take him to the ring. He thinks it's destiny at this point. Naomi puts out a broadcast, telling him what happened. Like we've been had, and she gives out the information about the sound guy, and it ends up getting to Bull. But at the meantime, and while she's chatting with Bull, once the transmission goes out, everybody's like, we got to arrest Holden. You got to keep him there. All kinds of demands come in. And that's when Naomi's like, Holden's not here. Holden has decided to go to the ring because he thinks destiny is calling him. And the book actually starts out with this part where Holden's like in the suit, and he's like, I really don't want to do this. This is a bad idea. And Naomi and him have a conversation about like, why do you always have to be the guy? Why? I'm tired of being left behind. He's like, oh, you're not being left behind. You're taking care of the crew. But yeah, he does always have to be the guy. And it's kind of funny how that turns out. So he heads out to the ring. UN Marines and Martian Marines are in tow, following him on these little skiffs that are pretty slow moving. And so he gets inside the ring, and we all saw this in the TV show. He's following Miller, and Miller explains to him that, I'm just a construct. I need a hand to turn on a switch. I need you to come in here. And you really shouldn't have come. And he's all, what? He's all, no, you shouldn't have come. He's all, I thought you wanted me to come. He's all, no. Why would you think that? And he's all, because of the girl and you. And he's all, no. And I like when they talk inside the ring, he's all, we've talked before. Miller said that. So we know it's a new Miller construct. And he's much more coherent now. He can understand what Holden is saying. And it's much more understandable. So, and Holden wastes a lot of time questioning him, like, what the hell is going on? And Miller explains that there used to be a civilization here. A civilization built these gates, billions of lives, and they're missing. And we're trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on. I'm here to investigate. So I need you to turn on this switch so I can have access to this thing. Basically the station is on war mode right now. So far it's just been defending itself. So that's why it does the dampening field to slow down the ships, because it's in defense mode, but it hasn't really attacked anybody yet. So Holden dicks around asking him a lot of questions. And then he finally taps into the station, and we saw flashes of this in the TV show, but this was a fascinating part where they go into it deep, where Holden sees all the gates. He sees all the gates open. He sees something coming, something destroying civilizations. And then he sees solar systems and suns being put out, destroyed. We see gates opening, closing. And he sees the destruction of a civilization, and there's nobody. And that's when they do the fail safe, and they just shut everything down. And when Holden comes back, Miller explains to him, like, hey, okay, I thank you very much. I've got the gist of what's going on. But you need to, and right before he tells him what he needs to do, the Marines come in and attack him. And Holden's like, couldn't I just got 5 more minutes? I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Before that, there was an attack. I apologize. Like, before that, there was an attack. And that was the attack that led to the Marine throwing the grenade. They fired some bullets, but the bullets got stopped right away. And then the Marine threw the grenade, and that's when he gets pretty much turned into spackle. He gets ripped apart, turned into spackle, fixes the hole in the floor, and something bad really happened. So we jump back to that second time, right before the Marines confront Holden, and Miller's explaining that something bad really happened, and I'm really sorry, kid. And Holden's all, what? He's all, a lot of people just died. it was just this, the station was just protecting himself. Really sorry. So the Marines take him in, and Holden really doesn't know what the hell is going on at this point. Melba uses the Deceleration Catastrophe, and that's what it was. And everything got slowed down. And to this point, we don't know. And there is just dead bodies everywhere, pieces. There's spheres of blood and bodily fluids floating around. Melba uses this to steal a mech suit and an EVA and get to the Roci. She was called out to help fix the problem. There was actually a body stuck in their main air duct, and their oxygen, their backup oxygen was barely working. Another one was on fire, and their main one was, so they were all going to asphyxiate. So they needed Melba to help. She starts to help, but then she sees the opportunity. She gets an ID card and is able to get the hell off the ship and go off the Roci. So she bails on the crew, that the makeshift crew they made, to go out to the Roci and go get her. Anna, in the meantime, has sussed out. She had seen Melba earlier and been fascinated about her. We saw the confrontation and when they're in the commissary with Tilly, and she scared Anna. Anna saw, after she was done talking to the Methodist, she went, she talked to, tried to talk to Melba. Melba brushed her off at first, and there's something familiar about her, whatever. And then Anna. So after Anna wakes up from the catastrophe, Tilly finds her and jacks her up just full of drugs, and Anna's just tweaking out at this point. So Anna basically susses out that Melba's the one, is something up with Melba, and Tilly's like, no, you can't go after her. She's like, I'm gonna go after her. She's all tweaked out, and she gets a suit on and she goes after her. There we go. So, and then let me get to the chat real quick here. This is a good time. Just checking on the chat. Favorite ship is a Roci. Hope everybody's doing all right. Matthew Davis, not the updated Roci. Sorry, I was just reading some of the chat here. It was, Grandfather said, it was a nice touch how they almost made Drummer sacrifice on the TV look like a book character she stands in for, but fooled the knowing audience with it at the end. Yeah, that was a good little twist on the book readers. And I'm really happy. I was so worried that they were going to kill Drummer. I was like, don't kill Drummer. She's too good. But we also lost, we lose another character, which I'm going to get to quickly here. So Anna follows Melba out. Melba gets to the Roci. She attacks Naomi, kicks the crap out of her, crushes her shoulder, but then Deus Ex Anna comes in at the end and tases her. But it doesn't really take her out. It takes her out a little bit, and her and Naomi injects herself with some drugs, and they get up. Amos and Alex are in the med bay, unconscious at this point. So Anna and Naomi are running for Melba, who, she gets tased, but then she starts rebooting. But then she basically, after Naomi passes out, and Anna has to fight Melba, but Melba ends up just crapping out from her drugs and starts throwing up. So Melba is able to tape her to a chair, and and she gets a hold of Ibaka at some point. Anna sedates her and tapes her to a chair. Holden asks Miller to tell the station to help people on the ships. Miller says it's utilitarian and it can't do anything like that. It's stupid, basically. The ship is dumb, or the station is dumb. It does what it's told. Miller takes him to the central core. And that's when they do the physical touch. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Bull awakes in a medical in a med bay, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. So this is where they mix it in with the drummer character a little bit. The doctor insists on putting him in a medical coma. Of course he can't. Bull's into his job. Okay. He's a very dutiful, loyal guy to Fred Johnson. And he feels responsible for this, and he's still trying to make this work despite the fact his legs don't work anymore. So he's basically in the bed, kind of coordinating everything he can, getting a hold of Sam, trying to get Sam to remove the rail gun, so they can basically spin the drum at this point. If they spin the drum, they have gravity, and they believe, yeah, and he wants to spin. So Sam has Sam remove the railgun and torpedo. Ashford finds out Bull has orchestrated this and relieves him of duty, and then attacks him in the hospital bed. And they use that to relieve Ashford of duty, and Pa becomes the captain. And everything looks good at this point, other than all the dead bodies flying around, and a Sun Yung being blown up, and they're not hearing from a lot of ships. Were going right up until the minimum speed. Those ones they've lost communication from. There were some ships going slower. They did much better. So Holden is captured by the Marines. He's taken to the MCR Hammurabi, where he explains everything to the captain. Tries not to sound crazy, but at this point, I think people find him somewhat believable with all the crazy shit that's going on. It's not hard to, my camera got way over there. Sorry. Okay, let's do that. So yeah, and then he explains to the captain that she's not really having it at first. She also God dang it. Sorry, lost my place in my notes. I know I got criticized that before, but that happens. All right. So Holden also explains has happened. He's put into a holding cell, and then Miller appears and tells them what they need to do to shut down basically the dampening field, and they need to lower the power. The ship is on still on war mode, and it's in defense mode. So if all the other ships basically power down, because they all have a bunch of little nuclear generators, so the station sees that as a threat. If they power everything down, it'll be okay. And they'll be able to pretty much release the dampening field and possibly get out. Now, there's no promises of this. Melba is locked on the Behemoth. She appears catatonic. Ashford is actually in the cell next to her, kind of freaking out and crying and screaming. And she ignores him. She won't respond to Bull when he's questioning her. So Bull sends in Tilly. And Tilly knew Melba, or Clarissa, since she was a child. She bounced her on her knee, and Clarissa basically confesses everything because Holden hurt Daddy. Anna and the Rossi crew are taken aboard the Behemoth as well after Naomi had contacted Bull. Tilly asks Anna to speak with Claire. That's Clarissa. She again confesses everything, and this is hard for Anna to do this because they were just in a fight, by the way. But Anna feels Anna is a saver. She needs to save people. She's a little, she needs to she has the big hero complex going on. So she wants to redeem Claire. And there's no justice without forgiveness. Bull gets a call from Captain Jaconda on the Hammurabi. She won't come to the Behemoth. He's trying to get her to come to the Behemoth and bring Holden with him. He's trying to get everybody on the Behemoth so they can work together. It's actually a very noble plan. They do have to give up their weapons, but there's a promise of, hey, you'll have the run of the ship, and we can just all work together to get the hell out of here. And she said, well, I can't do that unless I surrender, but my government won't let me surrender. Bull asked her. one way to get them to surrender is possibly have a weapon. So Bull has the idea of using their type beam laser array to use it as a weapon, and it can melt through a ship. So Sam hooks that up. And that would give the Martians a reason to surrender. While Holden arrives, he tells Holden, so eventually the Martians surrender because of this weapon that they were never going to use. And Holden arrives on the Behemoth. He tells Pa everything he told the captain of the Hammurabi. And he leads to the medical bay to check on his crew. And he's accosted by Anna, where she's like, "Hi, I'm Anna. By the way, could you forgive my friend Claire?" And he's like, whoa. What's going on? Where's my crew? Can we say hi first? So she takes him to see, she realized what she did. So she takes him to see the crew. He finds out everything okay. And he feels like an idiot. And then he also finds out that Anna basically saved the crew, and she's like, "I'm going to need something from you." And they're all, "Anything." And she's all, "I want you to forgive Clarissa. And I don't want you to tell anybody about it. Of course, enough to clear yourself, but I don't want you to tell anybody about it so they don't space her." Holden says no at first, and then Alex kind of guilts him into it, and he says yes. So Clarissa regains consciousness and is taken is basically when she's woken up, and she's taken to hating herself instead of Holden, and she's looking for redemption as well. And let's get to chat again. Oh, how is everybody in the chat? I'm almost done with the recap here. Wow, the Expanse writers did a great job doing adaptation of Abaddon's Gate. They did with what they were given in 7 episodes. It was pretty amazing. Has anybody mentioned how many Expanse ideas were taken from Larry Niven's known space universe? I do not know. I have not heard that. Not saying it didn't happen. I know flying dead bodies can be such a nuisance. So can flying spheres of blood and fluids. I like Anna in the book way better in the show. I do too. Melba and Anna are much, much better. Much, much better. Okay. So Anna, as Clarissa is in her cell and she's waking up, she's also got Ashford next door to her, trying to convince her that she needs to help him. He knows about her glands, her super soldier glands, and he wants her to help him get out so he can save everybody. And he's losing his mind. And during the first breaking incident, I think that really just broke Ashford mentally. He wasn't like very sound anyway, but so many people died on his watch, and this is a guy who doesn't want to look bad. It just absolutely broke him, and he's become a complete nutbag at this point. But he wants to escape and retake his ship. For what reason, we don't know. But we also get the Catholic priest, who they kind of brushed across this in the show. In the show, the Catholic priest ends up leaving, going, "God isn't out here, it's the devil." We get the same thing, but Hector Cortez stays there. He's convinced that the devil has tricked them to go to the gate, and the one thing they need to do is destroy the gate. And so he and Ashford cook up a plan for a mutiny so they can take over the ship and use the laser array. By the way, Ashford has been overhearing all this stuff with conversations with between Bull and Clarissa and his security staff and stuff. So yeah, he knows a lot, and he also knows it from the security staff who was loyal to him. And this is believable. They get a large number of people to believe that we just need to sacrifice ourselves and blow up the gate. And basically they'll be stuck forever, but they'll save Earth. Bull gets a call from Surge warning that Ashford's people have taken over. They're basically, the mutiny has started. Clarissa agrees to go with Ashford to kind of redeem herself She's looking for redemption. She wants to do one good thing before she dies. Bull warns Pa, then tells Sam, and Pa like gives up her. She's talking to Bull, but she has to go real quick, so we don't know what happened to her. He warns Sam. Sam tells him that they've already gotten engineering. Ashford's guys took and they're looking to overlock the laser, so they can destroy the ring. She tells them to hide. She tells Bull to hide as soon as he can. Now Sam had gifted Bull the mech which Drummer had, so it's a mech that he's able to walk. It makes him pretty clumsy, but he can climb stairs and access certain places, so he can get around. And he gets the hell out of Dodge. And Surge, who was kind of the second in command to Bull, gets confronted by some of the insurgents, and he doesn't take them very seriously. And a woman holds a gun up to him, and she's like, what makes you think you're in charge? And he puts his hand on his gun and said, where's the cops? Or we're the cops. And then he gets his head blown off. Cortez asks Anna for her help controlling the mob after they close the ring. Once the ring is done, once they've done what they needed to do, she disagrees at that solution and refuses to join them. The Rossi crew realizes something is going down. Naomi calls Sam, who tells them to hide, and she'll join them shortly. While en route, they beat up a couple of insurgents, take their gear. They rendezvous Sam, and explaining that the laser will melt. And then they find out the laser will basically melt the entire ship. Holden tells her that if they attack, the ring station might destroy the entire solar system, which it probably would. San sends them to San sends out some people to find Bull, and she sabotages the laser as much as she can. Bull rounds up as much people as he can to fight the insurgents. Monica, Stewart, and Anna start free radio slow zone to kind of get the word out to the other ships to start powering down their engines so they can get released from the dampening field. And that's the only thing that can save them. But in the meantime, on the Behemoth, pretty much war is broken out. And, we get chapters and chapters after the first slow zone incident. We get chapters of just gore. And this was probably the hardest part for them to adapt in the show. And they couldn't really do, it would have been like 3 episodes of just battle, which I'd have been fine with, but that's pretty much what happens till the end. There's a lot of battle. And the biggest tragedy of all is Ashford susses out that Sam has been stalling for them to work on the laser array. Another engineer says it could have been done faster, and Ashford caps her right there, kills her in cold blood, which was a hardcore scene. That was the hardest thing. Like poor little Sam Rosenberg, the cute engineer who was kind of sassy, gets killed in cold blood by this crazy captain. And that it fucks with Naomi, it fucks with everybody. And that really tells you things have gone that's how, no character is safe in this book. Now I'm feeling pretty confident about the crew of the Rossi. In later books, I'm not so sure, but for now, but otherwise everybody could die. And they take no prisoners in this book, and not everybody gets out alive. Forced to retreat from the engineering. Naomi is forced to, and this puts Naomi in charge of the laser array, and she has to basically retreat. She manages to dump the core, but Ashford still has access to the grid, so he can fire up the laser. In the offices, Amos manages to, this is the offices where Radio Free Slow Zone's going on. Amos is repelling an attack, but his team, he has a team of Marines and stuff and some Belters, and they just get slaughtered. Anna, in the meantime, is broadcasting that they're losing a fight and they need to stop Ashford or Earth will be destroyed. Clarissa calls and says she could open the bridge door for Holden, but wants Anna to convince her because she's starting to question Ashford, and so is Cortez at this point. They're questioning, they're seeing how crazy he is. Anna says to just have faith in people. and who choose to forgive their, in spite of their pain she's caused them, and to stop siding with Ashford, who kills innocents out of convenience. Clarissa opens the door. Naomi rigs a backup elevator to go engage, squashing 2 remaining Marines, which we saw a little bit in there. And they had taken some of the Mars mech suits, some of the belters and some of the people on Ashford's side. The hatch opens, a fire exchange between both. Ashford tries to shoot Claire. He does shoot her, and she drop kicks him. Then re-rigs the bridge and accesses the controls, allowing the grid to be taken offline. The ship shuts down and the lights go out. And Holden is in a firefight at this point. Everybody's in a firefight. Amos is in a firefight. Naomi's running for her life up an elevator shaft. We got Bull and Naomi. And in the middle of a fight, Miller shows up. And all of a sudden, Holden's on another planet, a planet that we may or may not see in the future. With all the ships powered down, Miller managed to shut down the station's defenses with the freed ships and open up the ring. So the problem with this is he can't just open one ring. He's got to open them all. So no malevolent force appears to kill him, but Miller warns him that it could still be out there. Something did kill an entire civilization. It was a hive mind civilization. And even though the creators are gone, Miller can't stop searching. And he equates it to, like, if you set the Roci on a course and you die, do you think it could just stop? And that's where I think Holden really understands what Miller is. Miller is just a machine with a personality, but it's not really Miller. And it's on a mission, and it can't stop until it finds out the information, and it finds things. And he warns him, of course, of doors and corners one more time. And he also said, "I'm not done with you." And then he sends him back into the firefight. We find out the firefight is over, and the good guys have won. At the end, Anna insists Clarissa gets a free trial on Luna and asks Holden to transport her. Oh, before I get to that, Bull sacrifices himself at some point when the Marines they're going up the elevator shaft, and he's got these 2 grenade cards. He sends Naomi to go get to her boyfriend and sacrifices himself, and Bull dies. And that's what led me to believe that Drummer was going to die, because Bull, and the thing is, he only ends up killing 1 Marine. He doesn't kill both of them, and it really sucks. Like, poor Bull couldn't even get justice in his sacrifice, which totally sucks. But Bull was a really good character. I really liked him. I was sorry to see him go. So Anna insists that Clarissa gets a fair trial on Luna and asks Holden to transport her there. When he refuses, she offers to buy the Roci for Mars and to give it to him. If he'll agree. And she calls up her friend Tilly and says, "Will you buy the Roci for me?" And she does. And aboard the Roci, Claire helps Amos fix all the damage she caused. And she finds that she really enjoys the crew's company. And there it pretty much ends. So we will get to the chat, and there we go. How is everybody doing? That was the very long recap of Abaddon's Gate. I can't wait to get to Cibola Burns. I'm reading that one right now. By the way, I missed a super chat in memory of Dead Shed's missing head. Yes, thank you, Slurmy Scott. Poor Shed. Poor Shed. It is tough doing these things from the road. Here we go. Let me get over here. My camera kept moving. Everything keeps moving. The Catholic priest was a crazy mofo. He really was. Let's get up here. I like Dandelion Sky better too. Yeah, I did too, Mary. But Abaddon's Gate kind of fits more with all their other names, I think. Matter of fact, the name of the new book came out. I don't did that just happen, or did I totally miss that? Here, let's get the Expanse Book 8. Yeah, it's Timet's Wrath. Timet's Wrath. But Abaddon, according to Wikipedia, is In the New Testament book of Revelations, an angel called Abaddon is described as the king of an army of locusts. His name is first transcribed in Greek. There's also the Hebrew term Abaddon, and its Greek equivalent Apollyon, and it appears in the Bible as both a place of destruction and an angel of the abyss. So there you go. I have no idea what that's why I like these book names. They get me to look stuff up. So what is it? What is a time it? I'm sure there's people out there know, but mostly I've read comic books, so you got to get up. Time it is a supremely strong and powerful five-headed draconic goddess of the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. There you go. Nice. Nice. Little D&D reference there for the Expanse. I like that. Oh, look, I just got a notification. I got a new video from Doomcock. I'll be watching that next, people. Tilly was older in the book and married. It comes up in the book for me. Tilly was a very important character and a great character. She was Anna's only friend. Anna wasn't sure if she really liked her at first. She was this gossipy socialite, but she ended up being like tough as nails and badass. Anna, who had even, studied on being a nurse or a little bit, or at least some first aid, like needed help from Tilly when she was hurt. And Tilly was the one with the connections. She was the one who recognized Melba. She was the one who ended up helping the Rosie or, hooking that up for Anna. And, Claire gets her fair trial. Have we seen the last of Claire? No, we have not. Have we seen the last of Anna? No. Characters have moments of showing up again. They don't fully come back except for Bobby. Bobby's the one who comes back. Poor Ren ends up in a toolbox. That was sad. Proto makes Jewel Mouse too. Interesting. Or that's Melba. Movie Finobi. Holden had thought that the proto molecule had made a Julie Mao that was off manipulating him to the ring. It turns out Holden's kind of a narcissist, and it wasn't about him at all. He totally misinterpreted everything he was hearing from Miller and all the signs. He thought it was destiny bringing him, which is funny. In the show, they kind of make it destiny, but in the book, no, it was just a very happy accident that he showed up there, and he shouldn't have gone into the ring station at all. They shouldn't have gone into the ring at all. That's what Miller was telling them. The whole time he was saying doors and corners, which meant you have to clear out a room before you enter it. If not, it could be a slaughter. You don't know. He kept on bringing up the story of the Loca Grega, and they're busting basically a whorehouse. And there was a bunch of kids were robbing it or something like that. And they ended up getting slaughtered by the Loca Grega. And if Miller and his partner had raided that room 5 minutes earlier, they would have been in the middle of that gunfight. Yes, Mary, as far as the TV crew, there is 4 people, not 2 in the book. There is a lot more characters, a lot of side characters I kind of glossed over in the review. There's some extra security guards, or there was, Surge, of course. There was a lot of extra people, and there was the angry Marine. Anna tried to help, but she ended up dying in the slow zone incident. And that's why books, we get in people's heads, and it's way more fleshed out. So, when Doomcock was doing the review, and he sensed it as a writer, I'm assuming he's a writer. As a writer, you can recognize, like, it feels like they're rushing stuff and setting stuff out. And I don't know if most people can sense that or not. It definitely felt like they tried to cram a lot into a half a season, and they did a magnificent job. That proves that they are masterful writers. They are masterful writers. Getting more of the chat here. Anna grabs the military. Yeah, she grabbed when Anna stunned. Yeah, because that really came out of nowhere in the show when Anna stunned Melba. In the book, she's all jacked up. She figures out that Melba's like out to kill somebody, so so they explain, and they didn't explain this in the show. She just went out there. It makes sense in the show that somebody's on military grade speed and probably oxy or some kind of opiate mix, which really fucks with your judgment. And she's like, I'm going to be a superhero. And she grabs the military stun gun, which is pretty badass. And she ends up missing Melba, but she hits the mech. So Melba's in like the alien mech suit and completely fries the mech and electrocutes Melba. But Melba's like awakened. She's trapped, but she can't move the machine. But the machine, the mech ends up rebooting. Slurvy and Fenobi are in there. Slurmy. Sorry, Slurmy. I can talk. Again, thank you for the $5 super chat, Slurmy Scott. Clarissa does redeem herself more than once. It's pretty sad what happens to Clarissa. But first time I read this book, I had a hard time with the redemption. I had to read it a couple more times to be like, okay, I'm cool with it. I was kind of like, no, I'd still space her. But thank you for dropping in. Random gamer use it. That is cool. This will be a video later. Miller equals Abaddon? Possibly. Yes. I think it's either that or a reference to the civilization or what killed the civilization. Although there are differences, I'm glad we have both books and show. There are some things I like better in each, but it's still a great story. Yes, I feel the same way, Viking bitch. I like much more from the book than the show, but the show is still much better than most things on TV. Clarissa does become pals with Amos. We got to watch for future spoilers. Diffuse 56. I don't think that's huge spoiler. They become pals in the future sometime. We're not going to say when. I know the show. There wasn't a good way to explain Clarissa's glands. It was really well described in the book. It was. Yeah. I don't know how you would have done that in the show. You probably would have had to have some exposition. Basically, somebody would have to go walk in, some EMT or something going, she had some glands and they are this, and they do this, and they cause this. And I will not be seen again on the show ever again. One of those guys. It wouldn't hurt. Maybe they were there and they cut it out. So many battles in the books. Poor Sam. That made me so mad. It did. That pissed me off. I was really pissed. I'm like, listen, I figured they were going to kill Bull. But after Bull got his spine crushed, I'm like, he's just going to go out. He's going to go out like a man and nobody's going to get, well, I mean, he does get credit. Okay. Holden and Fred Johnson kind of reflect back at the end. Fred says, I think it's Fred who says, knowing Bull, he would have thought it was pretty cool that he saved the solar system. His act saved the solar system, essentially. The books all run together in my damage mind. Diffuse 56, mine too. That's why I've got to rely on my notes. And, I'll read it right before, but, I'm no expert. Okay. We're just having fun. We're talking about the Expanse. I am no official book review or anything. It's more of a discussion, a recap and a discussion. Like we're more here more for the conversation. And also we like, solving the puzzles of mystery shows and stuff. That's pretty fun. That is something I really appreciate about the story. The characters aren't okay after they witness someone being killed. There are consequences to their mental health. Realistic. Yeah. After Sam gets killed, that pretty much it doesn't break everybody, but it's a blow to everybody. And they get like during these firefights, there's constant blows, and it doesn't look good. Like they are losing badly at some points. And luckily they win in the end because Clarissa turns. If she hasn't turned, it's over. The death of innocence. Loved Sam. Oops, I meant Sam, not Rose. That's funny. But what was that? Oh, you can't remember what book. Diffuse 56 is not the churn. Dang, I can't remember what books. What's in which book? It's a novel, though. The churn is a novella about Amos. We're going to do a side review on that soon. Thanks for holding back, Diffuse. I'm reading the fourth book, but I'm not done. The fourth book is, I love it. I know some people don't. Some people don't. Mary Ashmead is on 5. Can't remember either. It reaches out. It reaches out. It reaches out. 113 times per second. Yes, that is some teasers for what's coming up. Yeah. Mary Ashmead calls the churn book 4. It could be. I guess I should look it up. Too lazy. What's that here? I was just looking at. There's always that website. Let me Google that for you. You can use that. I really liked Anna in the season finale. I was afraid after she helped the jerks on Earth and failed to help the suicidal. She looked like she was doomed to always screw things up with good intentions. Yeah, that was a good setup. And that was a good way to stretch out her story. But yeah, I wasn't too sure if it added to it. My new symbolic amount, 420. Thank you, Diffuse 56. I used to partake in the sticky icky quite a bit back in the day. I tell you, when I was younger. Wow, did I sound like a fucking old man saying that? Wow. I used to like that hippie lettuce back in the day. Dennis is laughing. Oh, you little whippersnappers got the sticky icky? Want to see my bong? Oh, I made it out of solid oak. I like Amos's little names for everybody too. Red and Peaches, and yeah. Amos is such a great character. I did read the churn as well. Amos is a really great character, and I'm interested to hear how you guys think Amos related in the book and the TV are very different. Very different. Who would you cast as like Amos from the book? Tame It may not have been D&D nod in real history. I would it's Mesopotamian. I was just going off of what Wikipedia said, James. You're right. It's the goddess of the sea. The goddess of the sea, credited with looking as a dragon and a figure of mythic tales. Sumerian, Akkadian, etc. So let's go to Tame It. Let's try that again. I had no idea what it is. So yeah, the first thing that comes up is the D&D thing. That's funny. Let's go to Wikipedia. Oh, there you go. Okay, in the religion of ancient Babylon, Tame It, and there's a bunch of pronunciations, is a primordial goddess of the sea. Mating with Abzo, the god of freshwater, they produce younger gods. She is a symbol of chaos and a primordial creation. She is referenced as a woman and is described as a glistening one. Ooh, she's a glistening woman. It is suggested that there are two parts to the Tamet Mythos. The first witch, if I'm saying this right, Tamet, is a creator goddess, though a sacred through a sacred marriage between salt and fresh water, peacefully created the cosmos through successive generations. In the second, I can't even pronounce that, Castumph. Tamet is considered a monstrous embodiment of primordial chaos. Some sources identify her with images of the sea serpent and a dragon. There you go. And they come out with their books like clockwork. It's gonna be out. Whew. You're my peaches, movie Fanobi. It's water time. Thanks for the water, Dennis. I like having an assistant. This will really work out for me. Yeah. Good job. I did the whole get off my lawn speech in Doomcock's Discord last night. Oh, he had a Discord last night? I freaking missed it. Oh, that's right. He does it on Tuesdays. I was driving. Expanse producers dropped a video yesterday thanking fans for saving the show. The Expanse revived fan trailer, Slurm, soon available in vape canisters. Nice. I will check out that video. God, I missed everything yesterday. That is great. I really like the actor playing Amos now, Wes Chatham. At this point, I wouldn't recast. I like both versions. I agree. And I am movie Fanobi's Peaches. That's awesome. In the books, the charters are a bit older. The TV versions don't have the same life lessons yet. They seem to have to adjust their writing for that too. It says AKA Big Worm 77. I hope I got that right. Sorry, AKA Big Worm 77. We'll just call you Big Worm, okay? Just between friends. Yeah, and they are all a bit older, and the Expanse on TV is a lot prettier. We'll say that for sure. Sorry, am I listening only? Just checking in for nerds. Confirmed. Love it, says Movie Fanobi. We love you too. Hey people, Doomcock is over 7,000 subs now, says Matt S. Congratulations to my friend Doomcock. I am so happy for him. I thought he would blow up, and he will continue to do so. I think his appearance on the Kai Council helped, but I think it's more people actually just seeing his videos and they're getting out there more. I am surprised and happy he doesn't get throttled by YouTube. And I think that some of that might be going on because I think he kind of should be bigger. Not that it's any fault of his own. He's doing great work. I will not say Dennis is a booth bitch. Viking bitch said you're a booth bitch, Dennis.
Hello, with my finger.
He's holding up a finger. Yeah, it says you're number one, Viking bitch. You are not to treat our the Nerdrotics like that. I will break that finger later. Gary, guys, you should have, what was that? Gary, you guys should have what he has having. As far as 7,000 subs, we'll get there. We're not for everybody. We're not for everybody. We go as television goes, basically. Once there's some good TV to cover. Absolutely shocked that the Bobcat Goldthwait video got over 1,000 views. I was utterly shocked by that. I don't know if 1,000 people watched the show, to be honest with you. But no, like that's brilliant. No, we're doing great. We're way ahead of schedule on our subs, I think, and we're glad to have you. So thank you for joining up. They love you, Dennis. He's crying right now. Tamot appears on The Oldest Sue. Sumerian. Okay, gotcha. You weren't finished with it. My bad. Yeah. So it appears on the in cuneiform. Is that what it's all on the clay tablets? Ancient aliens. You should check out the fan trailer for The Expanse by Ed Litos HQ. It's really good. Matthew Matson. I will do that. I will absolutely. As a matter of fact, I will copy and paste that right now so I can check it out when we are done. And I will share it if it's good. I definitely want to check out that Thanking the Expanse fans. I'm glad they did a video. That was nice. Isn't the 8th book out in December? Asked Dina McCombs. Yes, it is. Those guys are like clockwork. My God. Yeah, Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham are magnificent writers. Okay. To come out with books of this high quality every year, I've said it before, I'll say it again, is I don't know if it's unprecedented because I read a lot of comics, but not a lot of books. Okay. I'll start a lot of books and just toss them aside because they bore me. This one like got me within the first couple of pages and it was amazing. It was amazing. Now the show I watched the show first, but then, what I found, I looked into the history of the show, and this was the first night I'd watched it, and I saw it started out as a game, then it turned into a book, and it's magnificent. They are great. I have nothing but nice things to say about them. They're wonderful. They do fine work. The last book they came out with, I've read it twice. I feel a little better about it. It's shocking. I'll just say it's absolutely shocking. See, Gary, you got fangirls. Now you know you made it, says James Hayes. Do you consider yourself one of them, James? That's what I ask. I'm a fangirl of Doomcock. I'm a big time fangirl of Doomcock. Oh my God, Doomcock. I'm sorry to all the fangirls. That's horrible. I should not have done that. This is the best channel, best chat ever. I will say best chat ever. And my mom and Mary think this is the best channel. That's awesome. We're getting there. We're getting there. We have like the best subs and the best chat. That really saves our ass pretty much every time. Right, Dennis?
Right.
There you go. Be back in a bit. My alienated teenage son is yelling at me for something. Dad, he probably just wants money or food. Kids are needy. Just ignore them. That's what I do. My oldest is at home. I am praying he's having a party and doing something. We love Viking Bitch. We do love Viking Bitch. All right. Okay, so I hope you guys liked this review. And we're going to continue these. Trying to do them in the TV format is a bit long, but that's all we know how to do. The next one we're doing is not this Sunday. It's a week from this Sunday, and it's going to be Cibola Burn. And fair warning, we are getting into TV spoilers at that point. So you want to read ahead or watch it after you've read the book or after you've watched season 4. But there will be major season 4 spoilers in the next one. So you have been warned. Yeah, it's basically for book readers. But if you don't care about that stuff, you can come on and join. But yeah, so go out and read the books. Highly recommend them. Come back, find them on Audible. You can listen to the books. They're really good audiobooks too. So yeah, and we'll be doing Expanse stuff all summer, so the show doesn't fall down the memory hole. We love the Expanse. We want to keep talking about it till season 4 comes out. As it looks now, it's probably going to be a year for season 4. We'll find out. We'll find out Friday. Amazon, it has its panel, and yeah, there could be Expanse people there. You never know. You never know. There's lots of surprises at con. So our next stream will be in a couple hours. Once I get my voice back, Dennis and I will be talking about the latest news of the day as concerned to Comic-Con, and talk about what we're going to be doing, and a new TV show we're going to be covering that looks amazing that I saw that Dennis showed me the trailer for today, and I can't wait to see that show. Hint, it's by Robert Zemeckis. Freaking love Robert Zemeckis and love what he's doing. And I'm really excited about it. Gary's fangirls are collectively known as the Screaming Firehawks. Oh my God. Okay. It's a good time to go. You guys are amazing. And we'll see you next time. And remember, I will have, promise thank you to the patrons. Thank you to the super chats who were Diffuse 56 and Slurmy Scott. Thank you so much. And we will be back in a couple hours. So please check us out. And remember, kid, doors and corners.